Oh my goodness, what are we doing on Friday Night SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen? And by now, I'm not going to be discussing SmackDown today, but probably one here is tomorrow, or a special theme podcast for Sunday, or Monday to say the least. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode Lucas E. Allen Productions on YouTube and all audio platforms, the Lucas E. Allen Show, which is Saturday podcast here Saturday, November 8th of 2025. If you're into anything, follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, Lucas E. Allen. Watching today's podcast on YouTube, hit the like button, today's podcast. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done it already. Turn the bell for your post notifications when it's upload on YouTube. And also leave a comment to get my episode for Friday, November 8th of 2025. If you're watching on Spotify, do the same thing. Leave me a 5-star rating as well. I'll get quickly into today's podcast. I don't want this podcast go up any means necessary, so quick. Let me go rapid fire speed quickly. But also, I don't want it to be too long either, to say the least. It's not Saturday, the weekend, everything else, to say the least. We're discussing first things off here. WWE Saturday Night's main event, November 1st, 2025. I know, the show was a week ago today. And I'm just not discussing. I actually watched the show. Fucking boring, obviously. We're discussing that. WWE releases Ridge Holland ahead of his contract expiration in response to recent comments. We're discussing that. Nikki Bella explains what's different from her current WWE run. We're discussing that. We'll also be discussing Backstage update on time frame for Bianca Belair's WWE in-ring return. Be discussing that. Some Backstage speculation on next WWE main roster call-outs from the NXT Women's Division. Be discussing that. On the AEW side, one piece of news, my girl Mercedes Mone challenging also TBS champion 12 belts Mone. Should be challenging for another international women's title at an indie show. Be discussing that. And obviously, you did your weekly daily theme segment. You're not top 5 listed, but if you're top 3, a little bit mini. It's not going to be a major one with this one. Be my top 3 candidates to be John Cena's final match at Saturday Night's main event for December 13th of 2025. Two of them are kind of wild cards, and one probably predictable, if you ask me, to say the least. So that's all on today's podcast. Glad you're joining maybe as always conversation for Saturday episode Lucas E. Allen Productions on YouTube and all audio platforms, Lucas E. Allen Show. Starting with, you guessed, your WWE Saturday Night's Bar Down main event, November 1st, 2025 review. Starting with more Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre and their awful feud bullshit. And probably cleared on SmackDown last night. Cody Rhodes defeats Drew McIntyre to retain the undisputed WWE Championship to start the show. This, my friends, is an overall grave of C- minus. Which, by the way, there's stipulations involved. That's why it is a C-. Because if Cody Rhodes is using his belt or getting counted out or DQ'd or counted out, to say the least, which Cody Rhodes used the belt to be disqualified, he would lose the championship. What did he do? He used the championship when the referee was distracted or knocked down. I forgot what it was, honestly. But this was not even that great to begin with. This Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, dude, I am over it. There's only one thing that can save this here is Drew McIntyre wins the championship. Would that happen? Probably not. English temper, that'd be fine with me. But would he? Probably more likely not, if you ask me. Seriously, what the fuck are we doing here? This is boring. The whole feud has been fucking just bullshit filler. Not good filler. Everyone wanted when Cody Rhodes beat John Cena at SummerSlam ring back to regain the undisputed WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre a couple of matches or even a trilogy of matches of the shows, to say the least. We all thought he could potentially be good. This has been falling flat on its face. I'm not going to lie to you people. This is fucking boring. And this whole match is boring. C-. We want something you say. And Cody Rhodes also used the belt to his advantage. Also can get the win. Which he was not supposed to do when the referee is distracted. Oh joy. Oh joy. And he's a babyface, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like Drew McIntyre's a heel. Cody Rhodes is the babyface. and he used the championship to his advantage. How the fuck does that make any sense to you? How does it make any sense? It doesn't, to say the least. Moving on to Jade Cargill. She defeats and squashes basically Tiffany Stratton to win the WWE Women's Championship. It might not be like a classic like match on paper, great for this being a B. Like, look, you're getting this match a B. Yes, I am. Not because the match would not be like a 20-minute like match here. Like, Drake can't even go 20 minutes. But I like what they did here with the elevating the heel of Jade Cargill to the next level. Do I feel bad for Tiffany Stratton getting this not the greatest women's championship run? Yes, I do. Obviously. Yes, she has both like 300 plus days, and she dissolved Nia Jax's filler. And that's not Tiffany's fault. Just like it was not Julia's fault she lost the United States Championship last night. We'll discuss that briefly in depth probably Saturday or Sunday or Monday to say at least. But I like the way they developed this to say. I like the way Jay basically squashed Tiffany. She should be doing with this. Which I love Tiffany. I give us a B. It doesn't even be like a 20-minute like match here, or 15 minutes at bare minimum, or 10 minutes even at bare minimum too, or extreme minimum, whatever. This did what was needed to do, is elevate Jade to the next level to be the umpteenth badass heel. When building up towards, more likely for 2026 or WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas, hail Jade Cargill as the WWE Women's Champion going into a match against a babyface Bianca Belair. So we're updating her as of today's podcast too, by the way. I gave us to be a very, not a great match at all, but I definitely like the way they developed this Jade Cargill heel turn to say always here. That's the reason why for that, I give it a B. Moving on to more boring shit, boys and girls. Dominic Mysterio, the reigning defending WWE Intercontinental Champion, defeats Penta and Rusev to retain the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. This, my friends, is another C-. Saturday night's main event's been a glorified live event show. It might be worse than live event shows. What the hell are we doing? It's just live event shows with title changes to a point. That's just what it is. Oh my goodness, man. What is this damn fucking show come to? We all back in like I'm not going to say I watched like the 80s and 90s of Saturday night's main events. But at least you got no like big time match. Not like you got like Hulk Hogan against like Ultimate Warrior on that show. I don't think you ever got that. Did you? I don't know if they did. Like, I don't remember that back then. But at least you got like semi like big stars like semi right now to say the least. At least develop a good storyline and good match for Saturday night's main event that's meaningful. The biggest one we got here is the main event, obviously. Nothing fell up flat in its face, obviously. This show is falling off a complete fucking cliff since the words here, like basically rectifying it since last year, December of last year. What does this show come to? Oh my god, everyone wanted Saturday night's main event to be back. Now I want it to go away, honestly. It is that bad. This match proved it. This match proved it, to say the least. And on to before the main event, John Cena announced a pre-taped video package that his final opponent will be determined in a tournament that will kick off in his hometown of Boston, Massachusetts on Raw. I believe this coming Monday night, obviously. He said that superstars and wrestlers involved will include some of he has competed against in the past, others he is not, and others seeking an opportunity of a lifetime to improve their stature in the company, obviously. I love this, actually. I like this quite a bit, actually. Which, by the way, we're also going to be discussing my 3 picks in this podcast. I mean, the spirit to end this podcast, I'm going to my 3 picks for that to say, at least. So, who would be the final opponent for John Cena? Got one basically interesting one you all find out. Probably one wild card, definitely one predictable one. But in all honesty, this just should be fun. This just should be fun, honestly. Rather than produce like a better storyline involving John Cena's first fan match, absolutely. Absolutely, obviously. But I don't mind this for the simple fact that like we don't really need to develop a story as long as it's like it's probably like a new opponent, obviously not like one of those old rivals like AJ Styles or Randy like we already saw, or CM Punk, or God forbid Cody Rhodes again. I highly doubt that would be the case. So we wait and finally see what that. I'm gonna get my candidates to beat John Cena or his final match on December 13th at Saturday Night's main event. I gave this a B. I didn't mind this whatsoever, if you ask me. Moving on to your main event, fucking boring ass world title match. CM Punk defeats Jey Uso to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in the main event. This gets a C+. Usually, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be interested in a CM Punk World title. You never complain about me about that. You never can make me complain about that. But for the World Heavyweight Championship, absolutely not. He already won at SummerSlam. Granted, you got cashed in right after with Seth Rollins, obviously, ruse of the century. But still, even when he beat Gunther, I still don't think it's the right title for Punk to win. The right title for Punk to win is not even on Raw. It'd be on SmackDown, the undisputed WWE Championship, the one that Cody Rhodes is holding right now. That's the story for WrestleMania next year. And that'd be Punk's true main event, because obviously main event night 1 this year at WrestleMania. Now I can get the true final match at WrestleMania night 2 of 42. Rather that be the case. Not the World Heavyweight Championship. That should be going to Braun Breaker. And then you can build up to Seth Rollins coming back eventually. He's going to get his revenge and his title back against his old faction division. We can go from there. We need CM Punk to be the World Heavyweight Champion right now. I'm not saying I can't complain about that. I like the fact that backstage they had Jade Cargill, CM Punk, Ricky Sainz, the NXT Champion. And also, you got Cody Rhodes there. All in the picture. I like that. A big insult to Tony Khan there, obviously. That was a big fuck you to Tony Khan. I can't really complain about that, to say the least. It would be even funnier if Tony Khan had, like, on a Mercedes or somebody else on a Mercedes, maybe like Bryan Danielson, some other ex-WWE talent. Be on the picture and go take a cheap shot at WWE. I would laugh at that, too. I really would. But to say the least, I don't like the fact that you had to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Like, what are we doing? Have that be a bigger stage WrestleMania, not in Salt Lake City, Utah, Saturday night's main event. I'm sorry. That is just stupid. Granted, I didn't want Jey Uso to be the champion, but if he was going to be a champion for like a couple of nights and Braun Breaker like beat him on Monday Raw's past weekend main event, then fine, beggars can't be choosers. I wanted to tell us about Braun Breaker. But no, it doesn't look like we can get that anytime soon. Like, what are we doing? Why do we need... I'm not complaining for a Punk World title. I'm not complaining about that. The fact is, like, why the fuck are we doing this right now? We can develop a big storyline for 2026 at WrestleMania. Oh, that's right. Because Triple H doesn't know how to develop any decent stories. So he's worried about fucking AI doing the stories for him. That's what it is. I read a report a long time ago about that. He's more accurate more and more we see, especially on SmackDown last night. And tell me about that. This is a glorified fucking... This main event did nothing for me at all. I am done with the Jey Uso singles run. And he's facing The Miz next. And a John Cena last time ever, like, tournament here. The tournament's final opponent for Saturday night's main event, SmackDown. Oh, fucking joy. I'm on my bathroom break there, to say the least. God, man, this show fucking sucks. This Saturday night's main event special is falling off the face of the earth. And let's get to C+. Now, that's your overall show for WWE Saturday night's main event, November 1st, 2025. It is a C+. And that is your WWE Saturday night's main event, November 1st, 2025 review. Moving on to WWE releases Ridge Holland ahead of contract expiration in response to recent comments. Former WWE star Ridge Holland's deal with the WWE has reportedly been terminated before expiry due to his recent social media posts. Holland was told by WWE last month that he wouldn't be renewed his deal and that he would pay until the expiry of his contract. The former WWE NXT star has been unhappy at the manner in which he was let go, claiming that he has been left out to dry. Following his injury, a report by Fightful Select has revealed that Holland's deal was set to expire in mid-November. up to which point he would have continued to be paid by WWE. However, his recent critical posts about the company are purportedly viewed as a breach by a TKO-owned promotion, which has decided to release him from his contract ahead of his expiration date. The report stated that he won't be paid for the rest of his contract. Go figure. Pro Wrestling Insider's Mike Johnson later confirmed that report independently. Good old-fashioned WWE bullshit, if you ask me. Pettiness, fucking pettiness from World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. Listen, was I ever the biggest Ridge Holland fan? Fuck no. I thought this dude was mid beyond mid can be. But to release this dude when his contract was basically about to expire, basically, not gonna, obviously, and then release him like days before his contract, it's fucked up shit, because he gets at least a 90 or 30-day non-compete clause, so I don't know what I'm about the top of my head. But like, what the fuck kind of bullshit pettiness is that, WWE? TKO, Nick Khan, Ari Emanuel, Triple H, obviously. Like, what the fuck are we doing up there? Listen, I was not a Ridge Holland fan. I can't stand the injury he did against Big E. He would cause against Big E's neck injury. He also ended Big E's career, honestly. But still, doesn't give him the fact that he gets released just like this and just basically sit at home for nothing and wait 90 or 3 days to compete in wrestling. Like, that's a little bit fucked up, you think, right? Those are my thoughts on the situation for sure, to say the least. Moving on to Nikki Bella explains what's different from her current WWE run compared to the past, her previous run in WWE. Nikki Bella made her surprise return to WWE this year, the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble match, before coming back later this year ahead of the Evolution Premium Live event to become a regular competitor again. So far, Bella has competed for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch and is currently feuding with Roxanne Perez, but according to the WWE Hall of Famer herself, this time her run in the promotion will be different. During an episode of her podcast alongside her sister Brie Bella / Brie Garcia, obviously Bryan Danielson's wife, the Nikki and Brie show, Bella noted how she's currently feuding against someone like with a 20-year age gap and how she has to challenge herself. What I love is just for myself, I get to continue to see me grow, get better, and bringing it back up another notch. She noted, I know what I'm going to do next week for a tag match, which is obviously this past week, obviously. I know the things that I'm going to work on this week in the gym and in training, and I know the changes I'll make. Bella feels she's pushing her limits harder than she ever did in her initial WWE run. Probably not to say much, because obviously the Divas era was god-awful for women's professional wrestling, obviously. So it's not that hard to figure out with that. I'm learning more and more about myself in this era, and I sit and watch, and I get feedback from Brie and Bryan Danielson from myself, and I know what I need to do next. She explained. Bella further expressed how she got a lot of positive feedback from her recent match against Perez, and how she ended up trying on X, or no, Twitter, obviously, because of all the online chatter. There's just a lot of moments for me where I just continue to push myself out of my comfort zone, end quote. Still like that comments, by the way. I'm actually a fan of Nikki Bella. I might take some flag by that, but I think Nikki Bella is definitely an overhated woman in professional wrestling. Like, ever since she came back, and obviously everything else, the botch she did at Clash in Paris, obviously, it's Becky Lynch, the elephant in the room. Like, people are just tearing down with someone like, oh, she needs to go, she sucks, she's not needing her wrestling, she is this, she is that. Well, I would call her Nikki Hogan, but obviously she's not winning a lot of matches, it feels like, on Raw, obviously. But still, like, seriously, stop with the bullshit and stop just fucking slamming this woman for basically get out of her comfort zone. God forbid a grown-ass woman who's from a house, I think she's like, what, 40? I think she's like 40. She's like in her 40s, but she looks like she's in her 30s, obviously. But still, don't look up her age right now. It's kind of weird looking up a girl's age, I know, but still. Nikki Bella's, I think she's in her 40s, honestly. Let's look this up right now. My internet like to fucking work, obviously. I forgot to mention that. My internet still sucks in this hotel I'm in right now. Yeah, it's not gonna work. But I'm pretty sure she's like in her 40s, honestly. So there you go. And she looks like she's in her 30s, literally the way she looks. Like she never aged at all. Is she like one of the best wrestlers, like an EO type wrestler? No, she's not. But does she have to be, you idiot? For you to be like, oh, your 5-star banger classic Meltzer freaking rain bullshit. There's different wrestlers for that. Nikki Bella does not need to do that in 2025, nor she ever did in her past days. Nor should she. She was in an era where it's god-awful women's wrestling, obviously. Like obviously 2015 era, before that. Like, seriously. Stop with your fucking bullshit. That's why we think AJ Lee is back here for. Ultimately, help the women's wrestling in 2025. Just like Nikki's trying to somehow help it itself. He's probably going to say, he didn't say a year, but I'm assuming she thinks that too. Like, seriously, stop with the fucking hate for women's wrestling people. Women's wrestlers, to say the least. So, all over my fucking social media. There's Nikki Bella, Mercedes Mone. Definitely Mercedes, if you ask me. I mean, guy, she sneezes, the world goes to fucking hell, honestly. But still, you get the gist of the matter here, to say at least. So, good for Nikki Bella. I want to get out of her comfort zone. I like to do that. I try to do it myself, but I'm obviously going to be kind of a coward. I got to admit that myself. But I try to do it more now and then again, to say at least. Those are my thoughts on this for sure. Moving on to another women's wrestler I just fucking love, obviously. More than just Nikki Bella, obviously. Bianca Belair. Backstage update and time frame for Bianca Belair's WWE in-ring return. Back in April, it looked like 2025 was going to be Bianca Belair's year, especially coming off a well-received performance at WrestleMania 41 against Io Sky, ripping the epic triple threat match for the women's world title, obviously. Probably the best match of the whole weekend, with that and probably the other triple threat match. But unfortunately, that was the same match for Belair, also broke her finger. And despite optimism that she could be back by SummerSlam, Belair has yet to return, save for serving as a special guest referee at Evolution in July against obviously Naomi and Jade Cargill, and appearing at WWE's announcement for WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia. She probably felt sorry for her, obviously. I was seeing the link of Liv Morgan appear with that one too, and I felt sorry for her too. Now, new information suggests that Belair's return might have to wait until next year. Oh, great, boys and girls. Lovely. But Body Slam Plus reports that WWE expects Belair's comeback in early 2026, probably like the Royal Rumble match, I would assume. Though the potential for a return earlier than expected has been written off. This is a more positive update than a previous report from last week, which Belair stated that Belair's timetable for return is unknown. Which is about not fair to say then, now can we obviously wait for 2026, obviously. But then again, it's like almost less than 2 months, honestly, from now into January. You should probably more likely big Liv Morgan probably waits till the Royal Rumble match to say at least. Probably think you might as well keep her offer there. She's a big star like Liv. Probably a bigger star than Liv Morgan, honestly. I'm saying a Liv Morgan fan, Bianca Belair fan. But best blade off into the Royal Rumble match to say so her and Liv can probably return. Probably find out too in that Royal Rumble match, honestly. I don't know who the fuck would also be with that. My odds are fair for that match is going to Liv Morgan for the winner. Hopefully. Knock on wood. That's the case. Or you can realistically get Bianca win the Rumble and then Liv win the Chamber, obviously. Because I'm pinching 2 matches at WrestleMania for the world titles for the women's side. Roxanne Perez going into champion, eventually to dethrone Stephanie Becker. And versus Liv Morgan, Battle of the Judgment Day women, to say the least. No, sometimes I'll put Rhea Ripley in there and make it a triple threat, but nope, let's not do that. It should be Liv and Roxanne only, honestly. And they may do a triple threat after, that'd be fine with me. And also, you can probably do for women's SmackDown side, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair as well. Those are your 2 matches at WrestleMania for the women's world titles, to say the least. Or women's championship as well as for SmackDown. So desperately miss Bianca Belair dearly, obviously. So hope to see her back soon around later, to say the least. My personal favorite is women's wrestling. My favorite women's wrestling, that whole company, honestly. People might say Io Sky. I mean, I'm not bad, I actually say Io either. I love Io. And any other women else to say the least. Bianca Belair, I hope to see her back soon around later, to say the least. Moving on, the backstage speculation on next WWE main roster call-ups for NXT's women's division. Despite rumors throughout 2025 involving several key names, there has been very few call-ups from NXT to the main roster as compared to the past. Part of that may be due to WWE doing less to shake up the rosters for Raw and SmackDown, sure bro, than before. I highly doubt that though, as there has yet to be a draft held this year, and likely will not be done, might not be one with only 2 months left in the year. Watch them do around like this time, around a couple weeks before the Survivor Series, but I highly doubt that though, honestly. As such, it begs the question when another shakeup or call-ups from NXT will take place, and who some of these call-ups will be. In a recent Fightful Select answers, if you're interested in there, Sean Ross Seth speculated on 3 names from NXT's women's division that you could see find a spot on Raw or SmackDown in the distant future. The names were none other than former NXT Women's Champion Jacy Jayne. I'd like to see that, honestly. Former TNA Knockouts Champion Jordynne Grace, another one I'd like to see up there. A long-time NXT talent, get this, boys and girls, Wendy Choo. What the fuck is Wendy Choo going to be doing on Raw or SmackDown? I don't mind Jacy and Jordynne Grace. Obviously, those two are more already, honestly. I think Jacy's freaking great. I take a lot of flack for that, honestly. And Jordynne, you know how great Jordynne is. But Wendy Choo, she's nowhere close to being right. Just like, I love Lash Legend, obviously. She got called up on last night on SmackDown. I don't think she's right for main roster. I don't think she's got star potential, obviously. I love Lash. But this can give this woman time to breathe on NXT, maybe hold the North American Championship at bare minimum. No. They call this woman up to ultimately pair with Nia fucking Jax. Oh, she's already almost dead in the water, honestly, with that one. Not a fan of Nia Jax, obviously. Though he appears to have no hard evidence regarding on 3 being called up, Sapp provided solid reasons for all 3, in particular involved believing Jane had earned herself a shot following her lengthy run as NXT Women's Champion this year. Before that, honestly, then too, honestly, but whatever, give her bigger scampy choosers. While Grace is yet to hold a championship in NXT since signing in the winter, it was known that her contract already had her making main roster money. Interesting, obviously. Probably like Blake Moore did the same thing too. Making it unlikely that WWE would keep her down there for a long tail. Obviously, I don't think he'll do that. That leaves Choo. So obviously, I can't wait for this one. As the most surprised name, yeah, no shit. Both due to her longevity in NXT, and the fact she hardly appeared in NXT proper over the past year. Instead of working mostly on WWE Evolve, which obviously takes place on Wednesday, head-to-head with Dynamite, I believe. However, Sapp believes Choo could still get a shot at the main roster, describing it as a sink or swim situation for her. Don't think you should do that at all. I don't think you should do that whatsoever. I don't like the sink or swim type situation of an NXT talent. Obviously, like a main roster already, yeah, you definitely do the sink or swim situation for that. For NXT, though, in a main roster for that, meanwhile, their women's division is getting weaker and weaker, honestly. Could lose JC, could lose Jordynne Grace. Obviously, you have Blake Monroe and obviously JT and Passy. They're both champions down there, but still. Like, come on, we gotta at least develop something for NXT. Well, more likely, I'm not going to review it. What's the point, obviously? They're a television show. It's probably like a PLEs and stuff. It's a different story, obviously. But Jacy Jayne is more right for main roster, I feel. Same thing with Fallon Henley. Blaney Reed could be in meh, honestly. She also took the place of Fatal Influence, also in Jasmine Nix, got kicked out, obviously left WWE, everything. I feel like Jacy's is freaking great. Same with Fallon Henley. So those two definitely feel like main roster is definitely bound for them. Definitely Jordynne Grace as well as another one. But Wendy Choo, but not Fallon Henley's on this report, is kind of fucking weird, if you ask me. No offense to Wendy Choo, but Wendy Choo over, like, even, not Blake, I don't say Blake Monroe, she's always a champion, obviously. Or even Tam Paxley, obviously, I don't know, who else you spew out there, I don't know. Like, I don't take, honestly, Lola Vice, I'm not even a fan of Lola Vice at all, I'd rather take her in the main roster than Wendy Choo. I'm not even a fan of either one of them, honestly. But honestly, I'd rather call up Jacy Jayne, obviously, and obviously, like, basically Jordynne Grace as well, if you ask me. Those are my thoughts on this for sure. Especially Jacy Jayne, she actually lost the NXT Women's Championship, obviously, too. I feel like it'd be a nice character on Friday Night SmackDown, that god-awful women's division, obviously. So I ain't fine with that, though, to say the least. Moving on to your final news piece here before we get into your weekly theme segment, or daily theme segment. My girl, Mercedes, 12 belts, Money, or Ultimate Money, we didn't call her. Johnson for another international women's title and indie show. AEW star Mercedes Moné is set to challenge for another championship to add to her growing list of championships that she currently holds. Moné, who recently won her 12th championship at AEW's Wrestle Dream pay-per-view, will face against, I'm going to butcher this one, Belasia's Nor Phoenix Diana. Interesting to say at least. The current APAC Women's Wrestling Women's Champion at House of Glory's Superclass show. The event will take place on Saturday, November 15th, a week before Full Gear, honestly. At the Silkcloth Credit Union Arena in Brentwood, New York, to say the least. Oh joy, Mercedes might potentially be in 13 belts Monday. Oh, those fucking tears. I can already see them already, boys and girls. From the idiot, delusional wrestling community. Listen, you got your opinions on this, it's fine with me. That is totally fine. You got your opinions, if you like this or not, I definitely understand if you don't like it. But to say, she's, the worst thing of, AEW, when people are saying this as a straight face, she's the worst thing that happened to AEW, oh my god, people, you all guys are fucking idiots. There's much more things happening in All Elite Wrestling AEW that's bad. Not as much as WWE after SmackDown this week, honestly. But still. You would say the straight face of Mercedes Moné, who's a legend in this business, is the worst thing to happen to AEW? I'm sorry, I gotta give you a fucking big, fat bitch slap to your face. Because that is just mentally stupid. That is just a stupid thing to say. I don't mean to be harsh to people online. People has really pissed me off on the idiot wrestling community. It's not even just Mercedes, it's other people the Fenn Lamos, for example, like last night. When Chelsea Green beat Julia in the minute and a half, in say at least. 1 minute and 30 seconds, honestly. People are fucking in my comment section on a Facebook post saying that, there's this example. Oh, Julia can't cut a promo. Chelsea at least can. I'm like, what the they're both one and the same. I think Chelsea's better on the microphone, yes. But boys and girls, let me tell you this. She can't go or she's not good on microphone. It's just this idiot was telling me this on Facebook. This is why I can't stand Facebook sometimes. It's nothing but fucking bullshit, fucking old-ass hags on Facebook. Literally, I kid you not. And all clickbait fucking bullshit, for ad revenue fucking money grabs, to say at least, for Facebook. It's not real news at all. They claim it's real news, but it's not real news, obviously. And they basically saying Julia can't can't be on a microphone, it's so good. Why is she so good on the microphone? She ain't good at all. No shit. Neither is Stephanie Vaquero, the women's world champion, or Io Sky is already the best wrestler in the company and got over by her wrestling ability. Are you that stupid? Are you that fucking stupid? If Io Sky is over as hell she's right now thanks to her wrestling ability, what the fuck do you care about her on the microphone for? What do you fucking care? I'm going to discuss this more tomorrow in the SmackDown. Let's go back to Mercedes, though. This stuff like that really pisses me off about the idiot wrestling community. On either platform, Facebook, not just Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it, especially on Twitter, too. TikTok, you fucking name it. YouTube Shorts, I do a lot of YouTube Shorts, by the way. Whatever, bro. That's the only reason why I'm on any socials. First, one, family, and two, basically fucking run podcast. Anything else will be done with social media, to say at least by now, for every app. Let's say at least, look good for Mercedes. Potentially more lucky with 13 belts, knock on wood. Watch her now lose now. They complain about this, whatever. But anyways, it should be interesting to say at least goes in the third full gear, challenges Chris Dunn for the AEW Women's World Championship. Potentially 13 belts might keep it updated and not going forward. But I still think Statler needs to beat Mercedes in all honesty. That's my thoughts on this shit for sure, to say at least. And time for your final part of this podcast, like your daily theme segment on this podcast. Not a top 5 list, though. It's a top 3 list here, I would say at least. My top 3 candidates to be John Cena's final match at WWE Saturday Night's main event, December 13th of 2025. Gentlemen, please, number 3, obviously. This is a big-time wild card with this one. This is what John Cena mentioned as some of his heel promos in CM Punk. Yeah, it's probably spoiled there. Not quite gas, no, it's yeah, but Gentlemen, please, anyways. Probably spoiled, obviously, but Gentlemen, please, anyways. Number 3, a huge fucking wild card. Matt Cardona. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I ain't bullshitting. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but it's honestly, it's kind of difficult. But one or two people I feel it's going to be John Cena's final match. Yeah, I wanted to do 3 because I feel bad just doing 2. Be kind of basic. I originally wanted to do a top 5 list. I feel like if this is too late. Like we can probably more likely figure it out now who John Cena's final match will be. But still, it's Matt Cardona, number 3, obviously mentioned on by John Cena on the SmackDown promo. Obviously, English Pepper for Night Champion. He's obviously a heel as the undisputed WWE champion. So this should be that to me. Matt Cardona is a pipe dream, honestly. He's definitely a pipe dream, honestly. Do I see it happen? Absolutely not. We even go into like main roster as Matt Cardona. I highly doubt that. Probably like Zack Ryder, honestly. But that's why I pointed out there like one fantasy book and one here. This one, number 2, is a complete fucking wild card according to Italian. I don't mind that statement at all. But John, please, number 2 though. This is a complete big time wild card here. Number 2, you got Dominic Mysterio, the reigning defending WWE Men's Intercontinental Champion. We discussed this at the top of the podcast on the Saturday Night's main event, November 1st, 2025 review. Imagine, because Dominic Mysterio is getting cheers as a heel. Imagine he wants to get that semi-heel heat back. We have a Rey Mysterio turn his back on his father and everything. And Edge back in 2022. Maybe more off as a heel. Let's have him retire John Cena. Obviously, one of the arguably the GOAT, if not the GOAT in wrestling right now, obviously. WWE obviously calls him the greatest of all time, obviously. So why not bring him back to his old ways as a heel in 2022 by retiring John Cena? Wouldn't that be interesting? I saw like obviously Natalia Neidhart, the Heart Foundation members. I obviously one of my personal favorites. Well, I want to see her a lot more often on WWE television. She's doing her own thing, independent. She's a low-key legend gimmick. I actually like that call for Natty. But Natty's recently set us believe with somebody else, and the Dominic Mysterio would be her pick to beat John Cena's final match. Like that's just, for all people to say like hot takes and everything. That is definitely a hot take that I would definitely be willing to think about. That's definitely one I was thinking about, honestly, is Dom. Like, I think we're going to see the match eventually with John Cena's final 4 appearances. I don't think he's going to be his final match, but honestly, I would not mind it. I would not mind it at all. Dom versus Cena, Saturday Night's main event, especially because he'll be going there as probably Intercontinental Champion. John Cena obviously looking to tie. It would obviously be another Grand Slam winner. He's never won the Intercontinental Championship. I don't think he ever even challenged for the IC title. That's what tells Lewin John Cena like Sheamus is right now. For being a Grand Slam champion. If you can tell that story like eventually maybe on Raw or even Cena's final matchup, I don't mind that at all. That's why he's definitely the main wild card in this, though, to say at least. That's why he's number 2. He ain't number 1, though. John, please, my number 1 spot. Number 1 is Gunther. A guy who obviously retired somebody this year, and Bill Goldberg, obviously, at Saturday Night's main event for July 12th of 2025. He already retired one guy at Saturday Night's main event, probably retire another one, Goldberg and John Cena. This one probably mean a lot more than obviously Bill Goldberg, guys. It's always fuck Bill Goldberg. But still, I don't mind it whatsoever. We always want to see Gunther and John Cena. For at least one time, and he can get only 1 of 4 final matches. And I think it'll definitely be his final match. Gunther, the ultimate umpteenth villain, the final boss, no pun intended, to The Rock. To be honest, Gunther's more of a final boss than The Rock, honestly. That's how I feel about that. But John Cena being the one to be fucking retired by Gunther. Imagine that, man. Make Gunther more and more so like the ultimate villain in professional wrestling. Sign me the fuck up. That is going to be freaking... I think that's going to be the case. Other than Dominic, like, who else is going to be John Cena's match that's not Gunther? Final match that's not Gunther. Like, also, if it was Claudio Castagnoli, it's not AEW, I'd say him. That's why I put Matt Cardona at number 3. But no, he's in AEW the Death Rider, so that's not going to happen. But still, I think that'll be freaking... Gunther retiring 2 legends at a Saturday Night's main event in 1 year. That is fucking... Man, he's like a new Randy Orton legend killer, man. Team villain is Gunther. Let's go again. Number 3, we got Matt Cardona. Number 2, we got Dominic Mysterio. Number 1, we got Gunther. Be John Cena's final appearances or matches say he says Saturday Night's main event for December 13th of 2025. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this all to say at least. And let me, as always, peace and love. I am out. Take care. Love you all big time to say the least.